Hello everyone, welcome back. Welcome freaking back. As you guys can obviously see, I'm not at my parents' now, I'm at my in-laws, so I'm still in a different area, but as you guys can see by the title and the thumbnail of this video, we are doing a December wrap-up. So as you guys know, I do quarterly videos on top of my usual videos. So whenever I do have quarterly videos, sometimes videos get pushed back a little bit. So that's why I'm doing a December wrap up right now and not in December. There you go. Now that I have explained that, let me pull up my December wrap up for you. And oh my gosh, you guys, I read so many good books this month, or last month I mean. It was phenomenal. So I did end up reading 7 books in the month of December, and I was thrilled with every single one of them. The first book that I read in December was The Gingerbread Bakery. Nope, that's a lie. It was The Christmas Tree Farm by Lori Gilmore. I obviously rated that book a 5-star. I cannot express to you how much I am obsessed with Lori Gilmore. I love her writing, I love her stories, I love her characters. I couldn't be any more thrilled with the books that I've read. And then the next book going into that, I read The Gingerbread Bakery by Lori Gilmore. Those 2 books being read side by side was just phenomenal. And reading it while it was cold and snowy outside just really put you in such a good mood. I love whenever books are like, whenever you read a seasonal book in the right season, and so you kind of get to pretend you're the main character for a minute. It's just a whole lot of fun, and I just loved that I got to do that during this season, which is why I had been pushing these Lori Gilmore books off, because I wanted to read them in the winter, which is why I also ended up reading the Lori Gilmore series completely not in order. And that's okay, because they are connected standalones, so you don't have to read them in a particular order, and you don't even need to read all of them if you don't want to. So I ended up reading the 4th book first. I think I went 4, 3, 1, 2, and then into, I don't remember what order I went into, but I did not read them in order. But it was kind of fun to read about it not in order, because you kind of got to see glimpses of some couples that you aren't sure are going to end up together, and so you kind of get to look at both sides of it. You get to read about the couple while they're already in the relationship, but then you get to their book and they're not in the relationship yet, so you kind of get to see how they got to the point that they did. It was kind of like backwards, but I enjoyed it. Anyway, then I read Holiday Ever After by Hannah Grace. This book was also a 5-star. I love Hannah Grace so much. I did mention, though, that I have read all of Hannah Grace's books, but all of them are like hockey romances, and this one was not based around hockey at all, so it was kind of jumping into a different genre in a way. It was still a romance, but it was just not hockey related, and I thought that she did a really phenomenal job with keeping her same writing style and keeping her characters still just as interesting, even though they're not like trauma bound to each other because of evil coaches. You know what I mean? So like, I just really did enjoy the story. I also enjoyed that I got to read it during the holiday season. I mean, you guys, I read the best books in December. I had such a good reading month. Then, this is so random. So random, okay? I read the first Twilight book while I was home at my parents'. Spoiler alert, there's going to be a Twilight reread video coming out on my channel eventually. I'm not giving any dates or anything, but it will be coming out eventually, so make sure you keep your eye out for that. But it is obviously a reread. I read these books for the first time in like 2008 or 2009 was whenever I read these books for the first time, or at least the first few for the first time. So I am obviously rereading them. I'm 28 years old. Of course I read these books when they came out. I was in the hype. You get it? I was there. I was there. So obviously this is going to be a reread, so there's going to be spoilers and stuff, but that's besides the point. We did end up rereading Twilight in December though, and it was so much fun to go back in and reread them, because like I said, I haven't picked up these books since 2008 or 2009, so going back to reread it after I've watched the films so many times, getting to go back and reread it and kind of like re-experience the way that I felt about those books for the first time again, kind of in a way, because I am kind of rereading them. Or I am rereading them, but I'm also kind of reading them for the first time because I'm 28 years old and because I read those books whenever I was a preteen. So like I'm having a different perspective on this story. So it is kind of reading a new book. It's kind of like reading a new book. Anyway, I loved my reread of Twilight. It was a 5-star. Then we read The Nutcracker. I did mention at the beginning of December that I try to read a few books every single year for Christmas time, and The Nutcracker is one of them. So I'm really glad that I got to get to that one this year, because last year I missed it, but I still think I got to the Gift of the Magi last year. But regardless, I did not get to The Nutcracker last year. I got to it this year, so I was really happy with myself that I did get to read this book again this year. I love this story. I love everything about it. I'm just absolutely obsessed with The Nutcracker. I feel like it also has to do with the dance background, but I love The Nutcracker, so getting to reread it every year is just one of my, like, it's one of my little things that I look forward to, is getting to try to reread my favorite holiday books again. Then I did end up doing in December the Advent book that was all over TikTok. It was the Christmas Eve love story, and that book was so sweet. I've seen so many people online saying that they were so excited to get rid of, like, they were so excited that Christmas was over because they could be done with that Advent. I guess I'm gonna die on a hill by myself because I loved that book. I thought it was so sweet. It felt so much like a Hallmark movie, and I am a very much so enjoy a Hallmark movie every now and again. So getting to read a book like that was really fun. The reason I'm saying it felt like a Hallmark movie was because it was kind of like, if you guys have seen Groundhog Day, it was kind of like repeating the same day over and over and over again. It was Christmas Eve every single time they woke up, and it was just really sweet, and it felt like a Hallmark movie. I loved it. Many people didn't. I don't know why, but I really enjoyed it. And then the last book that I read in December was The Plight Before Christmas. I enjoyed that one too. I literally, like I said at the beginning of this video, had such a good reading month. Such a good reading month. I could not complain for 1 second about my reading month. I had such a good December reading month. Oh, how many times am I going to repeat that? I have no idea. But we did end up reading The Plight Before Christmas. I enjoyed that one a lot. It was really sweet. It was a second chance romance, and it was just 10 out of 10. It was 10 out of 10. So I'm just going to go back through and tell you all that I read again. So the first book that I read was The Christmas Tree Farm by Laurie Gilmore. Then I read The Gingerbread Bakery by Laurie Gilmore. Then I read Holiday Ever After by Hannah Grace. Then I read Twilight by Stephanie Meyer. Then I read The Nutcracker by E.T.A. Hoffman. Then I read Christmas Eve Love Story by Jenny Baird. And lastly, I read The Plight Before Christmas by Kate Stewart. I rated all of those books 5 stars. My entire month of reading was 5 stars. Let me know down in the comments what you guys read in December. Let me know what your favorite book of the month was. I'm so excited to hear about them. Please let me know. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you give it a thumbs up. Make sure you leave a comment downstairs. Make sure you subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next one.